You are about to spend 30, 40, maybe $60,000 on a car. You test drove it. You loved how it looked. You signed the paperwork. You drove it home. And then 3 months later, you're sitting in a dealership service bay again, and the mechanic hands you a repair estimate that makes your stomach drop. That is not a hypothetical. That is the real experience of hundreds of thousands of car buyers every single year. People who trusted the badge. People who trusted the commercials. People who thought, this brand has always been reliable. They were wrong. In Consumer Reports, the most trusted, most data-driven, most independent automotive research organization in America, has the receipts. Today, we are counting down the 17 cars that buyers regret the most. Cars with alarming failure rates. Cars that have been recalled over and over again. Cars that drain your wallet long after you've driven them off the lot. If your car is on this list, I'm sorry, but you need to know what's coming. And if you're about to buy one of these cars, this video might be the most important thing you watch this year. Stay with me. Because number one on this list, nobody saw it coming. Before we dive in, here's why Consumer Reports data matters so much. They survey hundreds of thousands of actual vehicle owners every year. Real people. Real problems. Not focus groups. Not paid testers. Not manufacturer claims. Their reliability scores are built from actual repair histories, owner complaints, recall data, and long-term cost tracking. When Consumer Reports flags a car, smart buyers listen. These 17 vehicles were flagged for combinations of poor reliability across multiple model years, expensive and frequent repairs, safety recalls, sometimes dozens of them, bad fuel economy for their class, rapid depreciation, meaning they lose value faster than almost anything else on the road, poor long-term ownership value. Let's count them down. Number 17, Fiat 500L. We start with a car that has already been quietly put out of its misery, the Fiat 500L. Fiat discontinued this model largely due to one simple reason. Almost nobody wanted to buy it twice. And when you look at the data, it's not hard to understand why. The 500L came in with a promise: European charm, practical size, city-friendly design. What buyers actually got was a very different experience. Heavy depreciation hit immediately after purchase. Drive it off the lot, and you've already lost a significant chunk of your investment. But that was just the beginning. Owners reported transmission failures at alarming rates, jerky shifting, slipping gears, complete transmission breakdowns. These weren't minor inconveniences. Transmission replacements on this vehicle ran into thousands of dollars. And then came the safety scares. Multiple fuel leak issues were documented, with some vehicles flagged for potential fire risks. Suspension defects created unpredictable handling, not what you want in a vehicle you're trusting with your family's safety. The ride quality was described by owners as rough, bouncy, and uncomfortable, particularly on highway speeds. The engine stalling problem plagued certain model years without warning. At the end of its run, the Fiat 500L stood as a cautionary tale about buying a car based on looks and badge appeal rather than reliability data. Number 16, Jeep Wrangler. Now here's one that's going to upset some people, and I understand that. The Jeep Wrangler is an American icon. It's a cultural symbol. People don't just buy Wranglers, they join a community. But Consumer Reports doesn't grade on culture. It grades on reliability, and the Wrangler has some serious problems that loyal fans often don't want to talk about. Let's start with steering stability. Multiple model years have been flagged for wandering, imprecise steering, a particular problem at highway speeds where precise control is critical. This isn't a minor quirk, it's a legitimate safety concern. Rust issues, especially underneath the vehicle and around door hinges, have been well documented even in relatively newer model years. For a vehicle marketed as a rugged off-roader, that's a significant problem. Electrical gremlins are another recurring theme. Owners report mysterious failures in lighting systems, dashboard electronics, and power accessories. These problems are notoriously difficult and expensive to diagnose. The recalls have been numerous, covering everything from brake system failures to fire risks. The fuel economy is genuinely poor for modern standards, averaging in the low to mid-teens in real-world driving for many configurations. And that highway ride quality? Wrangler owners will admit it, the boxy aerodynamics and short wheelbase make highway cruising genuinely uncomfortable. Number 15. Volkswagen Jetta. The Volkswagen Jetta sells on the promise of German engineering. Precise, refined, reliable. That reputation is part of why so many buyers choose it over more affordable Japanese competitors. But the data tells a more complicated story. Electrical issues across multiple Jetta generations have been widely reported, from faulty sensors to complete electrical system failures. These are expensive and complex to repair. Engine stalling, particularly in certain 1.4-liter turbocharged variants, caught owners completely off guard. A car that randomly shuts off while driving isn't just inconvenient, it's dangerous. The interior materials became a running complaint. For a brand positioning itself as upscale, the plastics and trim felt cheap, soft-touch surfaces that scratched easily, buttons that wore out quickly. Airbag problems triggered serious recalls across multiple model years. The fuel line recalls created additional anxiety for owners already frustrated by reliability concerns. And the transmission failures, particularly in DSG dual-clutch automatic variants, represented some of the most expensive repairs documented for this vehicle class. Replacements could run well into four figures. Number 14. GMC Sierra 1500. Full-size pickup trucks are among the most important vehicle purchases people make. They're work vehicles. They haul families. They tow trailers. They carry equipment. People depend on them. That's what makes the GMC Sierra 1500's reliability record particularly troubling. Steering problems, including reports of sudden steering assist failures and inconsistent steering feel, created genuine safety concerns. When a truck this size loses steering confidence, the consequences can be catastrophic. Transmission issues across certain model years included rough shifting, delayed engagement, and in serious cases, complete transmission failure. On a truck often used for towing and hauling, transmission health is non-negotiable. The fire risk recalls were among the most alarming, with certain Sierra models recalled due to fuel system and electrical issues that created the potential for engine fires. This isn't a recall you shrug off. Engine troubles across multiple configurations added to the frustration. And for a large V8-powered truck, the fuel economy figures were genuinely poor, not just by modern standards, but even compared to competing trucks in the same class. Then there are the insurance costs and repair expenses, which Consumer Reports flagged as above average for the full-size truck segment. And brake recall issues in certain model years raised additional safety red flags that no buyer should ignore. Number 13. Polestar 2. The Polestar 2 arrived with considerable excitement. A premium Swedish electric vehicle, backed by Volvo and Geely, with gorgeous Scandinavian design and genuinely impressive performance specs on paper. But Consumer Reports owner data revealed some uncomfortable truths about real-world ownership. High-voltage system shutdowns, where the vehicle's electrical system would suddenly cut power unexpectedly, represented one of the most alarming safety concerns. When an electric vehicle's high-voltage system fails, you don't just lose air conditioning. You potentially lose power steering, regenerative braking, and propulsion itself. Battery recalls affected a significant number of vehicles, creating anxiety among owners who had invested premium dollars in what was supposed to be cutting-edge technology. The ride quality drew criticism for being overly stiff, a consequence of the suspension tuning prioritizing sporty handling over daily comfort. Fine for weekend drives. Tiring for daily commuting. Infotainment system glitches, freezing screens, Bluetooth connectivity failures, software crashes were reported frequently. For a vehicle whose entire interface is screen-dependent, these failures are particularly disruptive. And perhaps most critically, for an electric vehicle, limited service centers. When something goes wrong with your Polestar, and statistically something will, finding qualified technicians and getting timely repairs has been a significant challenge for many owners. Number 12. Buick Encore. The Buick Encore was supposed to be General Motors' answer to the premium compact SUV segment, a vehicle offering near luxury refinement at a slightly more accessible price point. Consumer Reports data suggests the reality fell considerably short of the promise. The infotainment system became a frequent complaint, not just outdated by modern standards, but actively problematic, with freezing, crashing, and unresponsive touchscreens reported across multiple model years. Air conditioning and electrical failures affected a disproportionate number of vehicles. ACC failure is never just uncomfortable. In extreme heat conditions, it's a health risk. The turbocharged engine in the Encore, while adequate on paper, proved to be a source of frustration in real-world driving. Owners found it lacking in power for highway merging, struggled with turbo lag in everyday acceleration situations, and faced above-average engine-related repair costs. Modern safety features that competing vehicles included as standard were notably absent or optional on many Encore configurations, leaving buyers paying luxury-adjacent prices for economy-grade safety technology. Transmission problems and multiple safety recalls rounded out a reliability picture that simply didn't justify the Buick price premium over comparably sized and more reliable alternatives. Number 11. Chevrolet Blazer. Chevrolet brought back the Blazer nameplate with considerable fanfare, a legendary badge, revived for a new generation. Sporty styling. Modern technology. The Blazer was supposed to compete directly with the Ford Edge, Honda Passport, and Nissan Murano. Instead, particularly in the 2020 and 2021 model years, it became one of Consumer Reports' most problematic vehicles in its class. Electrical problems were widespread and varied, from infotainment failures to power seat malfunctions to complete electrical system anomalies that left drivers stranded. Rapid depreciation hit Blazer buyers hard. The vehicle lost value faster than most competitors in the segment, meaning owners who needed to sell or trade were taking financial hits they hadn't anticipated. Engine stalling, similar to issues seen across several GM products of this era, was reported by a frustrating number of Blazer owners. Unexpected stalling at any speed is unacceptable in a modern vehicle. The insurance and repair costs were flagged as above average for the class. Fuel economy underperformed competitors, and the overall reliability rating for those early model years placed the Blazer at or near the bottom of its segment. Number 10. Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid. This one is particularly important to address carefully because the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid is marketed heavily to families, and the problems documented by Consumer Reports are not minor. Engine stalling risk, unexpected engine shutdowns while driving, was documented across a significant portion of the hybrid fleet. In a minivan carrying children, engine stalling is not just an inconvenience, it's a serious safety event. Frozen infotainment screens rendered the navigation, entertainment, and vehicle controls inaccessible. Families relying on integrated navigation or rear seat entertainment faced complete system lockouts. Battery problems in the hybrid powertrain, which is the entire selling point of this vehicle's premium pricing over the standard Pacifica, created expensive repair situations and, in some cases, left vehicles effectively undrivable. Charging system failures meant that buyers paying extra specifically for the plug-in hybrid capability sometimes found themselves unable to charge their vehicle at all. The recall history is extensive. Over 67,000 vehicles were recalled for various issues, a scale that indicates systemic quality control problems rather than isolated incidents. A transmission wiring recall raised additional safety concerns. Number 9. Jaguar F-Pace. The Jaguar F-Pace looks stunning. It has the sleek styling, premium badge, and upscale interior buyers expect from a true luxury SUV. On paper, it competes directly with the BMW X3, Audi Q5, and Mercedes GLC. But ownership reality has been far less glamorous. Consumer Reports data repeatedly highlighted the F-Pace for poor reliability, especially compared to its German rivals. One of the biggest complaints involved fuel pump failures, with some owners facing expensive repairs that left their luxury SUV stranded unexpectedly. Then came the familiar Jaguar issue: electrical problems. Random warning lights, malfunctioning sensors, infotainment crashes, and recurring faults became a frustrating pattern for many owners. Worse, some problems returned even after repairs. The F-Pace also suffered from brake recalls, while certain engine variants developed excessive oil consumption issues that forced owners to constantly monitor fluid levels on a vehicle that cost premium money. And the infotainment system? Frequent freezing, lagging, and connectivity failures turned everyday driving into a headache. Number 8. Ford Bronco. The return of the Ford Bronco created massive hype. People loved the retro styling, removable roof, and serious off-road capability. Demand exploded overnight. But once the excitement faded, many owners started noticing problems. One of the biggest complaints was excessive cabin noise. At highway speeds, wind and road noise could become tiring during long drives, especially with certain roof configurations. The removable roof system also created headaches. Owners reported leaks, rattles, poor alignment, and durability concerns, with both hardtop and soft-top versions. Some Bronco models also experienced serious engine valve issues, particularly with the 2.3-liter EcoBoost engine. Add in recalls related to fuel injector fire risks, and owner confidence started dropping quickly. Interior quality became another disappointment. Buyers spending over $50,000 expected a more premium cabin, but many found cheap-feeling plastics and underwhelming materials. Add transmission complaints and disappointing fuel economy, and the Bronco started feeling less like a dream SUV and more like a compromise. Number 7. Volvo XC60. Volvo built its reputation around safety. For decades, families trusted the brand because of its focus on protecting passengers. That's why the XC60's reliability record surprised so many people. Owners reported issues with driver assistance systems, including lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, and automatic emergency braking. When safety technology starts malfunctioning on a vehicle famous for safety, it raises serious concerns. Maintenance costs also became a major complaint. Luxury vehicles are never cheap to maintain, but many XC60 owners reported repair bills that rivaled or exceeded those from BMW and Audi ownership. There were also reports of engine stalling, creating dangerous situations where vehicles unexpectedly lost power while driving. Multiple recalls across recent model years pointed toward larger quality control concerns, while transmission issues and infotainment failures added to the frustration. Number 6. Dodge Durango. The Dodge Durango still attracts buyers because of its V8 power, towing capability, and aggressive styling. Few three-row SUVs feel as muscular, but ownership costs can quickly become painful. One of the biggest issues involves exhaust manifold cracking, a problem that has affected several Dodge and Chrysler engines for years. Repairs are expensive because replacing manifolds requires significant labor. Then there's depreciation. The Durango loses value quickly, making resale disappointing for owners hoping to trade in after a few years. Fuel economy is another major downside. Some versions struggle to achieve even mid-teen MPG numbers in real-world driving, making fuel costs shockingly high. Safety scores also lag behind many competitors, which is concerning for a family SUV. Add reports of engine failures and high long-term maintenance costs, and the Durango becomes difficult to recommend. Number 5. Rivian R1T. Rivian deserves credit for attempting something incredibly difficult, building a brand new American electric truck company from scratch. And in many ways, the R1T is genuinely impressive. But early ownership experiences revealed major growing pains. Some owners reported suspension problems, which is especially concerning for a truck marketed around adventure and off-road capability. Multiple recalls also showed that Rivian was still refining its manufacturing and quality control processes. One of the biggest frustrations became repair delays. Because Rivian's service network remains limited, owners sometimes waited weeks, even months, for repairs or replacement parts. Software glitches were another recurring issue. While many problems were fixed through over-the-air updates, some updates introduced new bugs, frustrating owners further. Charging infrastructure also remained a challenge compared to Tesla's much larger supercharger network. Number 4. Nissan Frontier. The Nissan Frontier has always marketed itself as a simple, affordable mid-size truck, a basic workhorse without unnecessary luxury features. But reliability complaints hurt that reputation badly. Owners frequently reported paint chipping and peeling, making trucks look far older than they actually were. Interior quality also disappointed buyers, especially compared to rivals like the Toyota Tacoma. Several airbag recalls raised safety concerns, while engine and transmission issues created expensive repair bills that erased the truck's affordability advantage. Fuel economy also lagged behind competitors, and many drivers complained about the stiff ride quality during daily driving. Number 3. Lincoln Aviator. The Lincoln Aviator is one of the most frustrating vehicles on this list because it comes so close to being excellent. It looks elegant, feels luxurious in moments, and offers impressive comfort. But reliability problems constantly ruin the experience. The luxury experience simply doesn't match what buyers expect at this price point. Many owners who cross-shopped the Aviator against BMW or Audi competitors later regretted choosing the Lincoln. Electrical system problems became a recurring issue across multiple model years, creating expensive and difficult-to-fix repair situations. There were also recalls involving faulty airbag systems, which damaged confidence in a vehicle designed to compete in the premium SUV market. Fuel economy was disappointingly poor as well, especially considering the Aviator's high price tag. Number 2. Land Rover Range Rover Sport. The Range Rover Sport is undeniably beautiful. It combines luxury, off-road capability, and prestige better than almost any SUV on the road. But it's also one of the most expensive vehicles to own and maintain. Electrical failures have become almost synonymous with Range Rover ownership. Complex electronics, sensors, and luxury systems often develop issues that require extremely expensive repairs. And these aren't simple fixes. Repairs usually require specialized technicians, expensive diagnostic equipment, and premium-priced parts. Maintenance costs can become shocking. Some owners report annual repair bills reaching 5 figures, especially once the warranty expires. Long-term reliability rankings consistently place the Range Rover Sport near the bottom of its class, while engine and transmission failures have forced some owners into incredibly expensive replacements. Number 1. Mitsubishi Mirage. And finally, the number 1 spot. Some people assume budget cars deserve a pass because they're inexpensive. But affordable cars are supposed to deliver one thing above all else: dependable transportation. The Mitsubishi Mirage struggles even with that basic mission. The handling feels unstable and unrefined, while the tiny 3-cylinder engine produces painfully weak performance. Highway merging often feels stressful because acceleration is so poor. Inside, the Mirage feels extremely cheap. Hard plastics, flimsy materials, and outdated design make the cabin feel far below modern standards. More concerning are the reports of brake problems, transmission failures, and airbag sensor recalls on such a simple vehicle. Reliability issues on a car this basic are difficult to excuse. Crash test performance also ranked among the weakest in its class, raising additional safety concerns. And perhaps the worst part? Repair costs often feel disproportionately high relative to the vehicle's low purchase price. The Mirage has now been discontinued in the United States, and based on its reputation, many believe that was the right decision. So there you have it. 17 vehicles that Consumer Reports data, drawn from real owners, real repair histories, and real ownership experiences, identifies as the cars that buyers regret most. If this video saved you from a mistake, or if it confirmed a decision you already made, please give it a like. Subscribe for more data-driven automotive content. And drop a comment below. Have you owned any of the cars on this list? What was your experience? Drive smart. Drive informed. I'll see you in the next one.